You know I love using my dies in different ways, and this card's a perfect example of that. Let me show you what we'll be using. Grab hold of all of them. Here we have the Bruges from the Belgian collection. We're also going to be using the center die from the Antwerp from the Belgian collection. From our special occasion collection, I'm going to be using the Arbour Gate, and this is the one we're going to show you a different way to use it for. The floral element is coming from the Sweetheart Flowers from our finishing touches. And I'm going to be creating an embossed background using the new Regal Checkerboard embossing folder. The sentiment comes from a clear stamp set called Amazing Sentiments. I like to work from the back up generally when I'm making a card, so I think I'll start with the embossing. So I'm going to bring in a piece of milk card, give you a quick measurement. It is 5.5 inches by 6 3/4. I'm going to put that into the embossing folder. Just center that. It just fits nicely on there. And let's bring over what we need for our sandwich. For the smaller folders, what I'm going to be using is the tan mat that comes with the platinum machine. Pop that over the top. And the Creative Expressions white adapter plate. Put that through. There we go. Check our embossing. That looks really nice. Now, one of the things I like to do is to kind of decorate the edge of embossing. So I'm going to use a clear perfect medium pen. I'm just going to go around the edge here and give it a real light going over right on the edge. And I'll just do this one side. I've got one I've already prepared so you can see it, but just to show you how it's done. I'm going to bring in a piece of copy paper and using some Cosmic Shimmer bright gold embossing powder. I'm going to pop that along the edge. There we go. And if you want, you can just sort of do a little bit more of like a distressed edge, kind of move it around a tiny bit, mess it up if you want. Totally up to you. Bring in my embossing tool, and I'll emboss it over here just so we're away from that. And since I'm using milk and gold in my card, the gold edge will just be a really nice frame for it. There we go. Missed a little spot, but you can go back and add that in. That's not a problem. What I would do is go all the way around, do an edge, heat it, and then move to the next edge, heat it, and do all 4 sides. Let's clear this up. There we go. And I will show you what it looks like when it's completely finished. So there I've got an embossed edge with the gold all the way around it. And then I've just put it onto another piece that I've done some piercing. I've added the vintage gold card to tie in the colors and a final milk layer for that. So our background is now sorted. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to cut the Arbour Gate for you. And bring over our cutting plates. So this is one of those dies that's very detailed, a lot of little bits, and because there's some really fine bits in there, I use wax paper when I cut this. It just helps it fall out a little easier, and that way you aren't pulling on that cardstock. When they're really fine like that, you can pull them out of shape if you're not careful. So I'll just pop that down. And I'm going to give this a run through. Now this is a rather detailed die, so let's check it. We may need a turn. See how we've done. It actually looks very well, so I think I'll go forward with that, and we will do a little bit of a clean out with the tool-in-one, taking out some of the bits. And let me just take my tape off. May not have gotten all the little bits out of this, but you'll see it falls out much easier when you have the wax paper. So you can see just peeling that off, how you will keep all your little bits intact where they need to be. Now I do have some of these that I've cut, so I will use those. And let me just pop this back onto the magnetic sheet, move it out of our way, and we'll bring these 2 over. So I've got 2 already cut for us. Do a quick tidy up here. Move all of our little bits out of the way. There we go. Okay. So I want to use these not as a gate, but as a background. So what you can do is just put them onto your card so you know about where they want to sit. And I'd like to have them just on this side of the little gold edge there. So I'm going to pull them apart a little bit more, take them together, and I can just nip them down the center. We can take off the extra bit of each of those pieces. I can use this for another card. In fact, I will show you something in another video. And we can pop these into place. Now, ordinarily, I would do it with some Cosmic Shimmer glue to make sure it stays on nice, but just for ease and quickness, I'm going to use a little bit of spray glue on the back. And we'll pop that one right into place there. Keep it nice and straight. And let me just give this one a quick shot. Put that into place right there. Just get them centered. Now, if they're not perfectly touching, that part's going to be covered by our focal element. It's not a problem, but you want to try and get them as straight as you can. There we go. So now that will peek out nicely behind our next step. I've already gone ahead and cut the Bruges in milk card. I've used a gold backing and then cut a frame out of the center of that using the middle of the die. I've added some mounting foam to the back to raise it. Love that dimension on my cards. Peel the backs off of these. Okay, I'm going to pop that right into the center so you will not even actually see the cut area there once we're finished. Okay, so I've used the inside of the Bruges to cut the inside of that frame out, but I definitely wanted to use the inside of the Antwerp, which is slightly smaller. So what I decided to do was cut the Antwerp die in milk, mat it in gold, and then cut a backing out of the same size here, so I wouldn't have a gap. So that's what I've done. I'll go ahead and seat that with a bit of glue. Make sure that's nice and stuck down. So that will cover any cut pieces on that Arbour Gate that might show through, but I still am able to use the inside that I would like. Okay, so pop that into place, and I've got a little bit of tape here. I'm going to use our adhesive remover and just take that off. Anytime you tape your dies and you run them through, sometimes there's a little bit of transfer of the sticky. This adhesive remover is the perfect thing to take that off. It works a treat. Okay, so next I've got my sentiment. I've stamped it in Clear Perfect Medium, and I've embossed it in the same exact gold color, and I've cut it out with the center from the Antwerp, which is oval. Pop that right into the middle, and I think that just needs a little bit of a focal element. So I've gone ahead and done a couple of flowers with the Sweetheart flowers, and I've just added some Cosmic Shimmer glue and some ice snow to do what I call sugaring them. So we'll put those into place. I'll just use a couple of glue dots here. I've just got a little bit of gold cording that I'm going to pop underneath it as a sort of accent, and I'm going to use a larger flower towards the top, and I've made one exactly the same way, just a little bit smaller towards the bottom, just as a nice little focal element. And there we have it. You would never know that that was the Arbour Gate used in a completely different way, would you? I think it's fun to do stuff like that. You certainly get more out of your dies that way. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I have so many more that you can watch on our YouTube channel. Plus, be sure and join us on my blog, www.partycraft.blogspot.com.